Obviously, you guys know how much I love answering questions on Formspring because you have taken me up on it and my Formspring has been blowing up. There's been a few days when I've gone in and it's 13, 14, 15 questions waiting for me, and I just checked in like a couple hours ago. So thank you all for that, I love it. And so here we go with another edition of my Formspring video series where I answer your questions, the best of what's submitted, more eloquently than I can in a little text blurb. A reminder that these are all genuine questions submitted by viewers just like you that have come into my Formspring, and I hope you'll submit some more questions, but first, let's see what's about it with some answers. I'm not even a sports fan, and I would love for Toronto to win the Stanley Cup because A, it would do so much for civic pride, B, it would be such a fun party. If you thought that Canada winning Olympic gold was something, you've almost got a fear for what would happen to Toronto if the Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup, but unfortunately, that's not going to be happening anytime soon. I don't think anybody thinks. I get nostalgic looking at those videos, thinking about how much fun they were to make, and how much more fun they were to present. But at the same time, I kind of cringe looking at them because I didn't know what I know now about filmmaking, and hadn't gotten good at editing, and hadn't gotten good at telling a story. So, as much as I may get nostalgic about looking at those old videos, it is from the point of view of that they were a part of my past. And as much of a kick as I get out of looking at those videos, it's even more my excitement now about the next few comedy videos that I'll make and where I'm going with that next. Snoop Dogg is one of my favorite entertainers. Not only because I love his rapping and love his music, but nobody's been able to stay relevant and stay interesting and stay in the popular imagination and in people's hearts and minds for that long. He debuted in 1992 on Dr. Dre's The Chronic album, and he made a splash right out of the gate such that they had to turn a solo album around in 1993, the very next year, which I own the first pressing vinyl of, by the way. No, I didn't get it on eBay. I bought it at the record store the day it came out. Thanks very much. You're welcome. I'm just kidding. But no. Snoop Dogg, it's brilliant because where he comes from and his history. Nobody would have bet money that that guy was going to be one of the biggest and most influential figures on popular culture, and now here he is, still going, still dazzling us, and still doing big things. So whether you like or hate his music, there's a lot of inspiration you can take from what he continues to be able to accomplish as an entertainer and as a public figure. There are no rules about this stuff. In fact, I say that I'm an open book. Whatever you want to ask it, I'll answer it. 99.9999% of the questions that come through, I answer. But just what it comes down to is knowing that my Formspring feeds into my Facebook wall, and those questions and answers are going to appear there. Am I comfortable with my mother seeing it, right? Now, me and my mother have a very liberal relationship, right? I swear in front of her when I visit and this kind of thing. And my content is very much R-rated, but it's a soft R, right? It's the difference between explicit sex versus just kind of full frontal nudity. The difference between terror violence and violent content with mature themes, right? So just use your discretion and your own judgment when you're asking me a question. But content-wise, nothing's off limits. You can ask whatever you want. It's all in the presentation. Now, I think that the answer is actually the mirror image to your question. I think that I've always been me, and in fact, if anything, the daily vlogs have made me even more me, and it's been about making the daily vlogs reflect that. and doing a better job of making the daily vlogs reflect that. You know, your confidence grows as you do these things. You develop a style, refine a style, refine a voice, and see who gets interested and comes along for the ride. I do like to look at the ones that I'm doing now and the ones that I was doing at the beginning, and yeah, notice the trepidation that came with the videos that I did at the time. I'll put it to you this way: I've been talking behind the scenes with a lot of people about these daily vlogs and why I do them and what I get out of them. And they do a lot of good for me, because you know, as much as I've got a reputation as outgoing and sort of a character, I'm actually quite introspective and quite shy, and got a lot of social anxieties and stuff like that. So the vlogs help me kind of maximize what I like about myself, because where once I might have, you know, blown off some kind of social engagement, now I'm like, but I need the content. I have to go, right? So I feel like, if anything, the daily vlogs continue to make me more me, and to help me feel more like the me I want to be. Oh, I hope that made sense. For me, how it worked was I was working at the latest in a long string of minimum wage kind of retail warehouse call center jobs, and I had gotten fat, and I was ashamed of myself because the routine that I was carrying out day to day did not reflect what I would tell myself my priorities were. So I started doing that Kevin Smith thing, where he says that the greatest piece of advice he ever got was from his sister, who told him that if you want to be a filmmaker, you don't aspire to be a filmmaker and dream about being a filmmaker. You just decide you're a filmmaker, and you start making all your decisions from the point of view of how would a filmmaker address this. So I took that to heart and decided, okay, well, that's me. I'm an artist, and every decision I make now is going to be about, well, what would an artist do, right? So the transition happened when I went out with some friends to see their band play, and it was a weeknight, and I got thinking about how, oh geez, I gotta leave the party even though I don't want to, because I've got to get to bed at a reasonable hour because I got to go to work in the morning. But then I started thinking, well, no, an artist wouldn't care about that, so I'm gonna carry out tonight like I'm an artist and just worry about it later. So I stayed out late, had a great time, and then that next morning I was like, well, an artist wouldn't go be tired all day and have a shitty day because he's got to be at this place at this arbitrary time. So I was like, whatever, I'll sleep in and I'll go for the afternoon. And then when I got up in the afternoon, got outside rather, it was a beautiful day, and I was like, well, an artist wouldn't go sit in an office and sit on the phone and miss this. So I didn't miss it. I went out and played, and took my sketchbook with me, and then over the weekend came to Monday, and just, you know, an artist wouldn't go, and I just couldn't get myself to go anymore. So about a week later, I heard through the grapevine that they had cleared my desk out, and I went, oh, guess I'm fired. And the thing that happened that clued me in that all of the spiritual stuff that I was reading about, and the stuff that was resonating with me inside but I couldn't provide empirical proof of, the thing that clued me in that all of that is true and accurate was when less than a week after they cleared my desk out, and I had no idea what I was doing or how I was going to live, less than a week after that, a guy who's a friend of a friend got promoted at his job into some decision-making position and was now able to start throwing me freelance illustration work. So I was drawing illustrations for some computer industry magazine. 2 of those a month kept my cubby hole of a room paid for and something to eat my belly once in a while. So yeah, if you can make that shift to get into a place where your priorities are not the same as most other people's, and you don't care about having what they have, and you don't care about this sort of imaginary checklist that exists that you're supposed to be filling your life up with, these things and these milestones. If you're more interested in the energy that you're putting into the world, and you're more interested in the fruition of what's in your head, then maybe you've got what it takes to go be an artist. It's hard, it's not easy, and sometimes it's not fun, but it's good and it's rewarding. And if you can make that shift and change your lifestyle and your priorities and maybe live a lot more modestly for a while if you have to, then maybe you got what it takes too. Thanks so much for your questions, everybody. You know, I love answering these things. So if you have a question, please, right here, it's formspring.me/Sean Ward, and you can ask me anything, like it says. And I hope you do. And I hope you'll tune in again and join me for another video right here tomorrow.